All right, here we go. Another episode down. A lot of exciting stuff happening. Obviously, it starts off with the last quarterfinal matchup between Roland and TJ. Going into this fight, I already had my connotations that TJ was definitely their strongest fighter, at least at 135. Roland, as y'all saw, was fighting an infection, a pretty nasty one, a staph infection that swelled his foot up about 4 times the size it was supposed to be. Training was definitely limited. Antibiotics will kill your cardio. So he didn't have the best situation going into this fight, but all the more power to him. And he's a fighter, and that's what he came to the show to do. And he wasn't going to quit, and he was going to fight. He wanted his opportunity, and he went in the cage and did his thing. First fight, our first round, was TJ kind of imposing his will, putting him on his back and just beating him up a little bit. The round ends, they get back to their feet. The round ends, Roland lands a decent combination right at the end. Between rounds, Team Mayhem, we're hoping for the best. TJ looks a little tired. Roland seemed to get his striking. He was picking his shots. So we're hoping for a good second round. Doesn't work out that way. TJ catches him with a big right hand, drops him, and just bows him down and finishes him off. Team Mayhem loses, I shouldn't say once again, but it's 5-3 now. 5 guys from Team Mayhem in the semifinals, 3 guys from Bisbing. We're obviously winning, so we're happy about that. But with that said, you're going to find out that 2 guys from Team Mayhem have to fight each other. So the next part of the episode, we get to that. They say they're going to go pull us all individually, all the semifinalists, into the room, see kind of who we want to fight. How it worked out at the time was they asked us 1, 2, and 3. 1 being who you want to fight the most, 2 obviously second most, and 3 is the one of the quarterfinalists you wouldn't want to fight the least. As I went in, it shows me choosing Dodson. My order was Dodson, and then TJ, and then Dustin. I just didn't want to fight Dustin. Him and I, by this point, had a really good relationship, really good friends, connected inside and outside of the house. We trained together. Still talk to him to this day, so he's just a great guy. Prefer not to fight a friend if I didn't have to. But I wanted to fight Dodson. I thought Dodson was, the easiest matchup of the 3. I didn't want to fight Dustin, and I thought TJ was a little harder fight than him. And Dodson gave me a little incentive to want to fight him by being a snake all season and just being a rat. So, as y'all saw, I got my wish. They announced the semifinal matchups. First 135-pound matchup will be Dustin and TJ. TJ asked for that fight. Thought that he could have exposed Dustin without his, lack of wrestling. We'll see how that fight turns out. I chose Dodson as my number 1. Dodson chose me as the second. He wanted to fight me second because I beat a bunch of his teammates. So there it is. TJ versus Dustin and me versus Dodson in the semifinals in 135. 145, little drama, I guess you'd say. Diego knew he wanted to fight. He wanted to fight Caraway. Akira wanted to fight Dennis, which I couldn't believe, to be honest, but okay. Dennis wanted to fight Akira, so there you go. There's the matchup. And Caraway really wasn't confident going into this fight, trying to fight Diego. Caraway is his own worst enemy. He's just got to get over this mental block. He's super talented, can beat anyone on any given day. Probably the most experienced guy in the house, with big name fights at least. Just lacks that self-confidence. It's unfortunate, but we'll see how that fight turns out. We're feeling confident in all our matchups. We think Dustin can outstrike TJ. Obviously, me and Dodson are on the same team, so the coaching is going to get weird in the next couple seasons, or next couple episodes. I'm sorry. We definitely feel good about Dennis smashing Akira, and we think Caraway's got all the tools to beat Diego. He's got to stick to his game plan and again, stop beating himself mentally before the fight happens. But exciting season, or exciting episode. I was on there quite a bit with my commentary, and then obviously the semifinal selection, so I was happy about that. And more to come. I'm getting ready to fight now, so you'll see me in the next couple weeks. Thanks for watching.